My father-in-law is from Cyprus and he's had a lot of baklava in his day. So when I made him my updated version using an orange simple syrup, he was blown away. And let's just say that was a really good day for me. I can't wait to share it with you today. Hey guys, I'm Shereen with Cook This. First to get started on a baklava. So baklava has nuts. Here we have walnuts and pecans, and we just want to put them into the food processor, a little bit of kosher salt and ground cinnamon. And we're just going to finely chop them because they're going to be layered in between phyllo. Great, so by post chopping, you can control the chop. That way they're not too finely minced. So you really want them to look just like that. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna get these set aside, and I've already thawed my phyllo and get it onto the work surface. So when you're working with phyllo, you have to really sort of baby it. So you can just buy store-bought phyllo. It'll be in your freezer section. Just thaw it according to the package directions. And then you want to line a clean kitchen towel. Then I have a piece of wax paper on top and then another clean towel. So this will keep it nice and moist so it doesn't crack. If it's exposed to the air too long, it just disintegrates. All right, so now I have some melted butter. So a little goes a long way. So you want to just butter the bottom of your baking sheet or your baking pan. And then we're going to work with one. I just want to make my fingers a little moist here so I could pick up the thin sheet of the phyllo. Look at that. We're just going to line it right into the bottom of the pan and then quickly cover as we work. So just keep doing that every step of the way. And just a little bit of butter and then brush the top. So we're going to do this for 6 more times, each layer. All right, so here is our 6th layer of our phyllo. Don't forget to continue to wrap that phyllo as you work. You don't want it to dry out. So here is a great time. Grab your kids. This is a fun little art project. They'll love just sort of smearing the butter right on top. I always love getting my kids in the kitchen. We're going to take our chopped nuts that we put in the food processor earlier, and you want to take half of these and just spread them right on top. So typically baklava is huge. They make it super high. I've actually cut this in half so it's more bite-size friendly. Sometimes I felt like it's just so big. How do you get it in your mouth? So I made it a little thinner and it's so much nicer. Alrighty. So that's about half. We're just sort of eyeballing it and then just brush it around. I can smell that cinnamon. I love nuts too. This is great. And these are perfectly ground. So that way it just makes for a really nice texture. Okay. Now we're just going to continue with 7 layers. So we're going to go 6 layers, nuts, 7 layers, nuts, 6 layers. Got it? Last piece of the phyllo, however you want to say it. So look, we used all that butter. So now we're just going to brush the top layer and then cut it. So you can cut it on a diagonal in 2 triangles, which is really pretty for a presentation, or squares. So today I'm going to cut it in squares. We're going to place it into the oven and let it bake so it gets light and crispy, and then work on the orange simple syrup. So what makes my baklava a little more unique and a little different from the traditional is I like to add orange. So I add the zest and freshly squeezed orange juice along with some water and sugar and then 2 cinnamon sticks. So that orange flavor just really makes it so unique, really delicious. So you want about 1/2 cup of freshly squeezed orange juice, and we want 1 cup of water. We have our sugar. We're going to bring it to a boil and then reduce it to a simmer and let it reduce and become a beautiful syrup. Perfect, while our baklava is in the oven. Now you just want to bring it to a boil at medium-high heat and let it cook until it becomes a syrup. So baklava has been out of the oven for about 5 minutes, and our orange simple syrup. So you just want to strain, get rid of the cinnamon sticks and that zest, and it should yield about 1 cup after it's cooked down. So it cooks for about 18 minutes. Perfect, 1 cup on the nose. So now we're just gonna let it cool for just a little bit and then pour it right over top of the baklava. So now it's just gonna kind of bubble a little bit, and then it looks like it's in a little bit of a pool, but once it sits and comes to room temperature, all of that syrup will totally absorb. Let's take a bite. It's still a little hot. My daughter Isabel is going to be so stoked. She loves this. It's perfectly sweet. You can taste that orange in there just ever so slightly. So crispy and delicious. You got to try this recipe. Head over to the newspaper's website, check it out. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week.